Hey everybody, it's Harry Tchinski, director, producer of horror and documentaries. Welcome back to, we're talking film production. I got a lot of stuff sent in from the last, in fact I was kind of amazed at the amount of questions I was asked. So I basically, the majority of them were sent in by people that have just starting to shoot their first film, or they're in the process of shooting their first movies. And I'm talking features here, 82 minutes and on. And not too many short producers out there that wrote in, but I did get some. The majority of them were basically new. They're new people, and they asked a lot of questions. So I have a list here, and I'm going to go over them. And one thing I need to talk about here, first off, when you're shooting your first feature film, it's kind of a new adventure, a totally new adventure, and it's something that you, the first picture that you shoot, you want to keep it like under $10,000, even $5,000 if you can. And we're going to be going over that in depth on how you can get away with a lot of this stuff and be able to get away with it and stuff like. The reason for that is because you want to make your money back. So let's kind of dive into this. One thing I was kind of surprised about was, what should I write about? Usually filmmakers already have a passion on what they want to do. And this person kind of went into depth, but I don't need to here. In fact, quite a few people did, and I didn't really go into it. But what I did was I took everything that they wrote and kind of gave myself an outline to follow here. And the number one thing that I must stress, write about something you care about. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this, and I'm not going to go over the fundraising bit part of it right now because we're going to do that in another video. And that's going to take significantly a lot of different videos. Basically, all this stuff really can, but we're going to try to keep it as short. You want to, like I said, you want to write something that you really care about. And I would go into a couple of reasons. First off, it's your first picture, so you want it to be something that you can really, get your teeth into, something that you really enjoy. And the neat thing about if you do that, and especially if it's something that a lot of other people care about, is that's where you're going to find a lot of your people at that want to work on this movie with you, because they have the same passion, the same wants, they have the same message they want to convey and get out there, and you can do that in a feature or in a documentary. This person here is doing a feature. I won't go into what they're doing it about, because I don't think that's something that's really something that's their business, and it doesn't really mean anything with what we're doing here. You also want to keep it simple. You want to keep it as simple as you can. Don't be ridiculous thinking that you should be extravagant about what the kind of film you're going to make. And there's a lot of reasons for that. First of all, it's your first film, and this first one is actually sort of like your school. Even if you've gone to school, or you've gone to film school in college or whatever, until you do that real 82-minute or longer feature, you really don't know what's going to be happening or know what's going into it until you actually sit down and do it. And so I kind of tell everybody, start off with a $10,000 production or less. Can, and we'll go into why. Mostly because you might not be able to finish it, or for a lot of reasons, actors leave, or it took you too long to make it, and girls get married or get pregnant, and then you have a problem with your leading person, and you also want to try to make it to where you want to shoot the film in about 12 to 14 days. And if you're doing that on weekends, right, that's 7 weeks right there. And is everybody going to be able to make it every single week? And you want to work that out with everybody too. On this kind of a budget, you're not really going to be paying people that much money, if any. And I have a real deal with that. In fact, I'm going to be going into that here a little bit. Excuse me. I have my coffee. But you want to keep it simple, and you want to keep your locations down to as few as possible. In fact, if you can take one location and break it up to where you have a house over here that you work in, you have a field over here that you're working in, and a barn or whatever, and you can break all these things up, but they're in the same location, it's going to save you so much time and so much headache. It's ridiculous. I also like to push, because I do this, myself now, is usually in the evenings, during the week, if they can. I like to have some of the actors come over that we're going to be shooting that weekend, and we're going to actually go through the paces of shooting that and work out all the problems, because a lot of actors aren't going to be able to say a line the way you want them to, so you have to let them figure out how to say it so it works for them. You're going to be working mostly with a lot of people that are not professional actors and crew people, but we're going to just be dealing with actors on the evenings. A couple of hours would really make your production so much better. If they have a problem saying a line, you can work out how they can say that line to where it works. You can work on your blocking, get all the differences out of the way, and I also suggest that you video the rehearsals. The reason for that is because it's going to get your actors used to having a camera around their face. Let's face it, when you shoot movies, you're in pretty close usually. It's all about the face, the reactions, medium shots, some long shots, but all the acting usually takes place very close. So you want to get them used to having a camera around them. So you want to keep this very simple. And you want to keep it down to 2 to 4 people in a scene at a time. When you start getting more, now you're going to have a problem. You got to start thinking about what they're doing, which is a good place to watch. It's a good thing that you have an assistant director and you give them the task of directing the background, so you can work with the actors. You should only be working with the actors if you're the director. One of the hard things I've noticed to do with a lot of people starting their first movie is getting up from the computer and go making their movie. And that's a big problem, is just getting started. I mean, for $10,000, you can kind of make it yourself, and you're not going to break the bank of grandma or grandpa with their money and your folks with their cash. I mean, this is a workable amount of money that you can actually pay back if things don't go well. And if you're doing it yourself, like a lot of filmmakers use credit cards, I don't like to do that, because you're going to wind up paying twice as much for your film than if you paid for it by cash out of pocket. And that's why a lot of films take so long to be made, because people have to make enough money to be able to do it. Now, with $10,000, you can break that up. If you're with a lot of people, or people that are into what you're doing, maybe it's let's say about whales. You're doing a movie about a guy that's trying to save the whales or something like that. You've got a lot of people out there that are really into that subject. And you can actually get your actors and actresses from those people and your crew members, because they have a vested interest in doing that movie, because it's helping them get their message out there. So they'll help you. And you might get lucky. You might get some money out of it. You can start a small donation campaign or something like that, and get the word out there. But if you got to start thinking a little bit more outside the box on how you can do these things. That's why it's good to have partners that can help you brainstorm on a lot of these things, because this stuff all comes up. These all come up with us, and that's why one of the reasons why we decided to do this. You really don't want to rush anything either. And that's why you want to get as much of your rehearsals done outside the filming situation of having all the tenseness of a film crew and the lights and the cameras and everything around these people. You want them to be able to get lost inside their who they're acting, and be able to dig deep down and be able to do that with rehearsals, because they can work things out this way, find out who they are, find out who the person is that they're playing, all these things. And it's like really important. So you don't want to rush anything. You want to make sure they're ready to do the part that they're doing. Another question I got was camera equipment. Should I rent or buy? Don't buy. I mean, if you can keep from it, don't buy. I mean, nowadays you can pick up a 4K camera for like $600, which is outrageous. That's just it makes some of this $30,000 camera equipment kind of a little obsolete for the low budget filmmaker. They can actually go out and buy one. For that price, I'd say, yeah, go ahead and put that into your budget if you can pick it up. But then you're going to have to go rent all your lights, and you don't want to buy all this stuff because there goes all your money and you got nothing left to work with, because when the movie is done, you still have to put money out. So we're going to talk about that too. It's really important that you understand that. So no, I wouldn't buy equipment. Now, back when I first started, it was film, and we could use the same cameras that were made 25 to 35 years ago. It was the same thing. The only thing that really changed was the film stock. It got better and better. You know, Kodak was developing new stuff all the time, and that's pretty much what you worked with. So a cinematographer knew the film stock, and he could pick up pretty much any camera. Some of them like certain ones because of the balance, the size, the weight, stuff like that, and what they were going to shoot with it. But that was really the preference, was what are you going to put in the camera, not to what camera you're using. The electronics changed so much now that it's kind of not worth really buying a camera, because as soon as you finish your film, it's worth half of what it was worth when you bought it. And if your idea is to buy this camera and then turn around and sell it and get your money back, that isn't going to happen. Plus, if you get fixed lenses, you know, you're stuck with you can't change lenses. There are some lenses you can put on the front of a fixed lens, but it's, you know, it kind of puts too much glass in there, and it depends on the kind of glass the lens is made out of and all this stuff. So I would, if I was you, I'd use the money that you're making to rent your equipment. And before you do that, what you need to do is find out all the equipment you're going to need, and then you take that and you figure out how many days you're going to shoot, and then you divide that by the cost of the equipment you're going to, and you kind of come up with your budget just for production. Okay. Now you got to remember, you got to feed them too, and we'll go into that in a little bit. Let's see. That was a good one here. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Pay. You're not going to be able to pay everybody, and that's why if you get, like I said earlier, if you're able to get write a movie about something that a lot of people are really vested in, that really believe in, you can get that money down. I have a deal about paying actors and actresses. They're usually going to cost you more money than they're worth sometimes. And if you're paying them too, you're going to lose in two ways. The first way is, well, you're paying them money. All right? And I know you're thinking, well, you should pay them. Well, let's talk about this for a minute. Number two is, they're going to cost you more time to get them to do what you need them to do. Even though you do rehearsals someplace, they'll get on to, let's say, a hillside, and things aren't working right. And they'll have a hard time trying to bring back what they had in rehearsal. And they'll get frustrated, and things will happen, and the day will linger on. You'll find yourself that what you want, the 8 pages that you wanted to shoot today, worked out to be only 3. And now you got to carry those over. And so they wind up costing you, they'll wind up costing you money in the long run. And plus, you got to remember that most actors that get paid, Tom Cruise, for instance, Tom Cruise, the reason why he gets paid so much money, and along with the other actors and actresses out there, is because they have a fan base. They are literally, when they hire an actor and they pay this actor, what they're doing is paying that actor to bring their fan base to the movie house to see that movie. So if you're hiring actors that have no fan base, how is paying them, how is the fan base that they don't have going to pay you back for the money you paid them in the first place to get your money back? See, that's sort of a problem situation there, and so I have to work with actors on that, because they have a big problem with, you know, some, I don't get paid. Well, no. What do you have to offer? Well, they don't really have anything to offer, and I can get another actor or actress. So you have to think in those terms, and either you go along with me on that or you don't, because I'm sure a lot of you even are actors yourself. So I have a problem with people on that one when I tell them that. They have a real problem. They think that everybody should get paid. Well, you've only got so much money, and you're going to need the money to continue on. If you only have 5 to 10 grand, I don't know. You're going to have a hard time with it, but it's still doable. But you might maybe pay them $20 a day or something. I mean, it's up to you. You're going to have to figure that out. Now, when it comes to crew are different. You want the crew people to be good at what they do. So the people you are going to have to pay is your cinematographer, especially if he has his own equipment. Now, if he has his own equipment and he's bringing his equipment with him, he just saved you rental fees. And so you should at least pay him for his equipment rental. Okay? Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Phone call. So that's the most important person there, because they're also going to have to play the part, wear another hat of your best boy. They're going to have to set the lights up and figure out the way they want to shoot the scene to what the director wants. So, they're really an important aspect of your picture, and that's why equipment and your director of photography is very, very important. Sound person, you should pay the sound person too. You don't want to make the cameraman the sound guy. It's too much. You want him concentrating on shot, not on audio. So you should pay the audio person too. So these are people that should be already somewhat known for doing photography and sound, cinematography and sound, and that have their own equipment. It's the best way to go. Tell you the truth, it really is. Those are the two people that I definitely pay, and probably post-production supervisor. Okay, which you might have to have him fill in as your assistant director too. Your assistant director, you could have one new one every day if you had to, but these are people that want to become directors eventually, hopefully, and so you can usually pick them up in colleges and stuff like that. Interns, because there's always, if they're taking any type of film class or anything, they're going to need to intern on a movie, and that's what we always do. I always intern because I believe in it, and it saves us a little money, plus it gives them something. So it's a give and take situation, and it works out really well. What about using SAG? Okay, so what about using SAG actors? Should I use SAG actors? Yes, if you can. But I would do it under the ultra low budget SAG agreement. Because you can get really good actors for $100 a day. I mean, come on, if they'll do it, if they'll take it for the $100 a day. But you'd be surprised that a number of actors and actresses will actually take on a film if it's near them and it's not a big hassle for them, for that kind of money. And if the movie takes off, well, then because of the SAG Act, because of the ultra low budget, you're going to have to wind up pay them more. But you also might have to pay them even if it doesn't take off. So that's something else you have to think about. All right. Is insurance really important? Yes. Insurance is very important, and you should always cover yourself with insurance. You want to get production insurance, and there's a lot of good reasons why you want to get production insurance. First off, somebody gets hurt or something happens to the day and you can't get stuff shot. It'll even help you get locations that you normally would not get, because then they know that they're covered if something happens. There's also a thing called E&O insurance, which is error and omissions insurance, which is something that distributors really care about and want. And the reason for that is because it covers their ass if you do something wrong. Like if there's plagiarism, or if there's a copyrighted item in the movie that did not get a release. Things like that. Music, it covers them, and it's all about them being covered And that's what, errors and omissions insurance means. So you really want to get that. I'm trying to get music for my film, but the songs I want to use are way too expensive. Right. Especially if, you're not going to be able to use a Beatles song or whoever's out today that you really like in your movie without paying, $20,000 to $50,000. It's just the way it is. You can pick up music as at music locations on the internet. You can find. I work with a really great musician out of Toronto, Canada, and I'm in Phoenix. That guy is fantastic. His name's Eric Brubaker. You can look him up. If you've seen any of my movies, or if you've got any of my movies on video, especially Spaceship Terror, I have a video on there that he put on there that I really wanted him to make, and it worked out really well. So you can get to know him. He writes music for movies, does a great job. I will push him all the time because he's worth the money. Another thing, you want to make sure that you're feeding everybody well, and you want to have snacks there, coffee, soda pop, energy drinks, just stuff to eat in between breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you have to pay, you got to remember that's going to come out of your money, so you got to figure that into your days. And if they ever want anything, you want it there for them. You don't want them sitting around bummed out because they don't have their favorite kind of M&Ms, or their favorite kind of soda pop isn't there, or something like that. You want to keep these people as happy and as relaxed as possible. So in between meal, you should have a nice big table with a spread on there so they can go over and grab themselves something if they get hungry. It's just really important. And an army runs on his stomach just as much as his feet, and you want these people to want to stay and not want to leave to go eat food. You want them to stay there. You've talked about the Sundance Film Festival. How do you feel about it, and should we put our film into it? You cannot put your film into Sundance. You have to be invited to be into Sundance. And I think the best thing to do right at this point is Sundance usually does not take micro-budget films. Just forget it doesn't happen. There's usually around 3,000 to 5,000 films that are submitted to Sundance every year. They only take about 120 to 127. And like I always say before, you've heard me say this before, and I'll say it because there's a lot of new people that are watching, that they usually only take with films with stars in it. So that's kind of an important thing there, because it's pretty much a industry festival in a way to me. I feel that it's an industry festival there, because it's mostly all industry pictures and high budget independent films. And so I would say at this point, you should think all the time, my film is not going to get into Sundance, because when you go ahead and apply to put your film in Sundance, and I suggest that everybody do this anyways, no matter what, if you get a turned down letter, which is, the majority are going to get that. I mean, that's just the way that things are. You're not bummed out. And remember, there are different festivals out there. There's national film festivals, there's international film festivals. And you want to use the right ones. And in the book that I wrote, it's in the can now. What? I was going to have to push this, right? It's in the can. It's in the can now. What? I go over a whole area in here about film festivals and some of the best ones to get into. So, it's another reason why you should pick up this book. You can get this book on Amazon as a paperback, which I suggest everybody get because then you have it with you. But you can also pick it up as a digital now. We've went ahead and did digital because I've had so many people ask for it on digital. In fact, it was ridiculous the amount of people that have asked for us on digital. So I went ahead and said, okay, go ahead, put it on digital. So it's there now. If you'd like to pick it up that way, it's a lot cheaper that way, of course. And because you don't have to deal with the printing costs and all that stuff. But that's, the best way to go right now. So, look. We've been in this now for quite a while. I think about 20 minutes. I think that's long enough for this episode. Hopefully I went over these things well. If I didn't, write in and ask me. Maybe I didn't cover something that you need to know about. Make sure you write in and ask me about it. And at the end of the video here, you'll see. In fact, I'll probably flash it up on the bottom here. Can we flash it up on the bottom here as we go through? Oh, you've been doing that. Perfect. Okay. So just write to me. You'll see that. I think it's talkingfilmproductions@gmail.com. And, go ahead and write me some more questions. I'll try to get on to as much as possible. I'm kind of skimming over a lot of this stuff because we are recording these. And right now we're kind of filling out which way to go with this, whether it's really got an audience or not. And I think it's going to work out quite well. After the amount of questions we already got already. So, and I read every single one of them, by the way. So, don't think I haven't read. If you've sent me something and you've read it, I probably didn't talk about it because I had it pretty much covered in here or what I was going to say. So, that's it for now. Watch for us next week. And I'm going to try to make it so they're out on every Monday. So everybody, can kind of see it through the week. So, that's really about it for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.